Welcome, travelling friends of Australia. We are Willem and Anneke, and we hope you enjoy this episode of our podcast,
where we have a chat to other travellers and give them the opportunity to tell their stories and share the tips that they've learned along the way.
All right, we got Dylan and Zali from Sendin It, so let's jump in and get to know them. Hi, Dylan and Zali.
How are you guys?
We're good, thank you.
Going good, yeah.
Yeah, how are you guys?
Oh, all right, yeah. It's
awesome.
It's raining here, so
Yeah.
Oh, really?
big storm, yeah.
Oh no, we've got what was it today? I think it was like
touching on
35 degrees today.
Oh, I was about to say touching on 40. But
oh yeah, probably nearly 40. Yeah.
It's probably going to get hot there soon. Hey, it's already getting hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of like we've heard all about it, but yeah, I haven't been here before. Like Dylan has worked here in the past, but so it's all new to me. So we'll see how I go when it gets really hot.
Hopefully your car aircon can hold out because it's not looking too good. It's only early days and the aircon's just holding up.
Yeah.
So obviously we know where you are, but the listeners don't. So you guys are in Port Hedland. So if you guys want to just lead us into that and tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you do and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, pretty much we were travelling around Australia, left in March 3rd of this year, and we were having a merry old time going across from Victoria. We left off. We got all the way down to across the Sejuna, saw family, saw a lot of places, Flinders Ranges.
Yeah.
And then basically we hit Sejuna, then all of a sudden lockdown sort of started to happen and we had to make a decision whether we go back to Vic, which we didn't have a house anyway because it was all, leases, it's all you plan to leave everything. So we hightailed it across the border and then we're like, oh, sweet, we're here. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, no, they're locking down the regions too. And then we're like, oh, man, what have we done? What's going on?
Yeah, so we spent 7 weeks in Perth during the whole lockdown thing. And then I think, after that, it was, about June?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it all opened up again and we headed down south and did a bit of travelling of southwest WA. And then, finally got to go up north, which we were so excited about. And, here we are.
Yeah, well, that's
Port Hedland.
Port Hedland, yeah. We're all the way to Kununurra.
Yeah.
And the wet season started to kick in. Well, when I say that, it was just getting so hot and the humidity, we'd go to bed in the rooftop tent and everything would just be saturated wet. There'd be water everywhere. And we're like, I think we've got to make a decision. What are we going to do? Cross the border or just hang around in WA for a while? So
we got so close to going to the Northern Territory, but that's as close as we got for now.
Yeah, so obviously you're still continuing on with your full-time travel. It's not stopped you or...
Yeah, we'll continue work for a little bit. Not sure how long we will work for. Probably just kind of the wet season once it cools down a bit until mid next year. And then, hopefully we can head off again. We're already missing it, so... Yeah,
that's it. We really want to... Because we didn't want to rush through Northern Territory and then into Queensland and then just finish it because it's too hot. Yeah. So we thought, we'll just pause it and trip around here a little bit. But other than that, smack out some work and then straight into it again as soon as the weather allows us to. Yeah. So, that's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have time off or just have weekends off to go, see maybe
some
of the places there?
We have a bit of time off here and there, but it's kind of just that whole thing again, it's getting too hot, kind of things are closing and stuff like that. So we will try and do...
We definitely want to get out to Marble Bar.
Yeah, Marble Bar.
What is it? Australia's hottest place, by averages. So we'd love to get out to there, running waters. Yeah. Like you said, there is places, we're in sort of the Pilbara region, so you've got Karajini and anything else that we've missed in that area. Yeah. When we went through, we've got the ability now to go and check it out good and proper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, awesome.
So your favorite spots you've seen so far since you started in March?
Oh, so mine instantly goes straight to the Gibb River Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's mine. It kind of always seemed to change every time we went somewhere new.
Yeah, your new favourite spot just goes, oh, this is my new favourite spot. And then,
I bet.
But yeah, so far that's for me. Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Argyle was pretty special. Like that was sort of unworldly. Like I couldn't believe that it existed like that. So that was one of the coolest spots. But then when I say the best, it's probably like the next one following it is probably like that much less better. Yeah, so it's a very close tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prefer bush or beach?
Bush.
Yeah, we're bush people.
Bush people. Yeah, all right. No worries.
Yeah. So that was right in our element, kind of all up. You know, the Kimberley, kind of, I guess the Pilbara as well is kind of, you know, we're right in amongst where we like to be. So that's good. Yeah.
Sort of grew up in on the Murray River, Vic and New South border there. So beach was in Geelong last couple of years, but before that, all freshwater rivers and creeks and high country. So that's where we feel comfortable, and that's why we always end up back there.
Yeah, same here. We prefer bush and fresh water, not salt water.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with the salt water. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, like beaches are good, but like you tend to get like on the beach and you get your towel and you're like, yep, cool, I'm gonna have a nice relaxing day, and then you're just getting like, I don't know, just sand blasted and salt in your eyes, and it's just, it seems better than what it is when you get down there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right. But if you grew up around it, it's just like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
So do you guys want to tell us a little bit about your setup?
Yes. Yeah, well, basically, if anyone's followed us along the journey, it's a bit of a comical event. Our setup has changed a lot. We kind of look like, we're going to be honest, we look like amateurs. We are amateurs. So we got a Toyota Hilux dual cab. We got a canopy and just decked it out. It's been our full drive down in Vic for many years. And then we finally thought we'll go around Australia. So better set it up properly with long-range fuel tank and everything like that. And basically we left Victoria with just the King's awning out the side and the double swag from ARB that we'd had for ages. And we just thought, we'll see how far we can get with this. Let's just see how, like, before we go spending too much. And we got to South Australia, and all of a sudden we went up to Flinders Ranges. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. The flies were horrendous. So we were like, we've got to change something here. So we went to Oz-Tent, RV3. We changed out the swag for that, and then we got a 270 awning just to make it a bit more of a room. And, we went across the WA, and then that Oz tent that we paid good money for actually leaked like a sieve.
Oh no!
So when you say wet canvassing, when it's new, get it all weathered. Yeah, weathered. Basically, weather it in, season it in 3 times, and then it'll stretch and it'll soak up all the holes. But we did that like 7 times, and then we're like, this thing just doesn't not seal.
Oh, no.
And
so we ended up down in, where were we?
Pemberton.
Oh, Pemberton. So we were camping there, and
was that winter time?
Of course.
So it was starting on winter, so when the lockdowns were lifted, so it was like June.
So we were like, we'll be right. No, so we're in like the thick scrub of the bush, and it just like rained, and like usually you'd expect, we're like, okay, it's been raining a lot, so you know you can't expect too much from the poor tent, but it was just like it was raining, like it's like we're sleeping out in the rain. Like, oh no, what are we gonna do this time? So it was like back to the drawing board, and
back to Perth. What we literally just threw this tent together and all our wet bedding, just chucked it on the roof of the car and drove straight back to Perth. Everything's saturated, like let's just get back there and figure it out again. And that's where we got ended up just doing some research, because we didn't want to go changing too much. We still got the canopy and the roof rack, so we're like, let's just not go too crazy. So we just went out and bought a Dutch rooftop tent. And we whacked that on the roof, and we sort of had to modify a few things, chop the guards off and respray the thing. We bought a can of spray paint from Bunnings in Perth, Joondalup, I think it was. The only can left in WA.
Oh,
what?
And it was this special colour, and I sprayed the whole thing, and then we go, all right, running a bit low, we'll touch it up, we'll get another can. Called up and he goes, no, we don't stock that anymore. It's out of production. I go, oh, fair enough, call up another shop. not a single person in the West Coast has this can. And I'm like, I could have painted it any colour, but this colour. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a story.
Our stories.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, but you got to have a laugh anyway. No, nothing ever goes to plan. No one's perfect. We always don't take it too serious.
It's about the experiences. It's not about your setup. I think, we're the same.
Yeah.
We're doing our fair share of custom building now and
DIYs.
And Bunnings spray paint and stuff. So we know what it's all about.
Yeah, thank God for Bunnings.
Yeah.
And you got to get it before you go away, because like we've tried to buy nuts and bolts on the road, and I've ended up grabbing like the randomest stuff and paying like $20 for a few bolts, and I'm like, well, that's what you got to do. You just got to rough it until you can figure it out and get to somewhere else where they actually sell products.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you guys have
that's
any,
pretty much
apart from your tent leaking and all that, like do you have any other interesting stories of like things that happened along the way?
Bad or good?
Probably the sort of not a bad story, but it's kind of a funny story. We met this fella at Ballara Station. He was an old fella. He's staying in the caravan next to us, and he's just a really good bloke, an old Navy man, and he's staying there for 5 days. And basically, he's said, hey, you guys want to come from Ballara and go down to Coral Bay for the day? You take a stand-up paddleboard, and you can go and check it out. And like, we're like, yeah, rightio. We jumped in the car, went down to Coral Bay, and he didn't have any of his wallet with him. He's lost it. And basically, I said, I'll share your lunch. And so we're sitting there having lunch, all the three of us, and we're sitting there, and he's got a bit of a mo and a bit of a beer going on. And he's smacking down this burger, and he's loving it. And me and Zali are sitting opposite each other, and he's at the head of the table. And we're talking to him, and all of a sudden, he's got a full face full of mayonnaise all around his beard and his face, right? And we go,
what do you do?
We look, I see it. I look at him, I go, I see it. And I'm like, oh. And then I look sort of back, and I look at Zali, and she looks at me, and then she goes, and I'm like, oh, don't do it. And I'm like, then we start laughing, and I'm like, you can't tell him now he's covered in mayonnaise, because if we start laughing at him already. Explain,
we felt horrible.
Then he goes, what are you laughing at? And we go, oh, and then it's gone too far. We can't say we're laughing at the mayonnaise all over your face. So we're like, it's Zali, she booked this place and she forgot to cancel it. I was just taking the mickey out of it.
Yeah, and we're like, well, you had to be there. Just like, it was that bad that like I considered just like picking up my purse and my phone and just like hitchhiking back to below. We felt so bad.
And these awkward moments usually go on, like a few seconds, and then you get over it. It's like being at school or something where your teacher's yelling, you shouldn't laugh. You can't help it because you shouldn't be laughing, but you can't help it. This went on for like 5-6 minutes on and off of us like losing control. And by the end of it, he was getting quite frustrated, and we're like, I had to turn away. And the thing is, when I turned my body away because I'm laughing at the wall, Zali would start laughing because she knows I'm turning away. And
she knows what you're laughing at,
and today that has been the most awkward,
kind of
funniest story.
Horrible,
awkwardest and funniest moment, I reckon.
We felt horrible for him because we're like, if we just nipped it in the butt straight away and said you got stuff on your face, it would have been fine. Because we had that little bit of a giggle, it was all over.
Great. Well, we actually get to know you guys with a bit of a funny story about all your
like
skids.
The first content we seen of you guys.
So tell us a bit about who Ranger Rodney is.
Why was that, influence?
We were like camping. Where were we?
We were down south near, it's just out of Bustleton at Ironbridge Falls.
Yes, that's it. Falls. And we were just like, that's the stage we had the swag out, and then we're just getting a fire going. And I don't know, I think I was in a bit of a mood, and I was like, a bit of a silly mood, and I was like, why don't we just do something? We had the Bunnings hat and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, let's just film something.
Yeah, because you spend so much time making travel vlogs and filming this and places and destinations and photos, and then you sort of think like how fun it is. Like, you got the camera there, you're already making something. Why don't you make like a bit of it's Russell Coit inspired, all Aussie Adventures, 100%. Definitely inspired. That was always one of my favourite shows as a kid. And we didn't want to rip it off completely, but just like the same context, just you know, what is it? Awkward, funny, sort of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just like, we did it, and like we had a bit of a crowd by the end of it. Like people were looking but weren't looking at the same time,
Really?
and we're like, oh, whatever. We're just gonna pretend they're not there. And we were watching it back, and we're like, oh,
what's the reaction going to be?
We're like, this is so cringe.
We absolutely loved it. Eh?
Yeah,
It was good.
We're like, look at these guys. They're going to go like viral or something.
Is that something
we
you're looking like
is it going to be
on?
What's that?
Are you looking at continuing that on?
We absolutely are, but
Good.
it's just like the last one we filmed took 6 hours.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, we really like, we're like, okay, what are we going to do next? And like the ideas come quite quickly, but the kind of like
getting them to physical filming.
them.
Like we had so many. You guys would have probably relate with coronavirus. If you're going anywhere like caravan parks or when you were going places with the early days, it was kind of a bit weird and awkward. Like we noticed like we'd have to put our registrations down for where we were going, and at caravan parks you get different reactions from people, and like sometimes we'd check in and the guy would say, now he'd come up to like the car window and for the boom gate and he'd go, now guys, I need you to stay, 1.5 meters, wash your hands, there's sanitizations. And while he's doing this, he's got his arm on the window and he's like this. Yeah, so just pull up around the back there, mate. And he's right in your face. And we were going to make a skit about like all the different weird things. Like you check in and you go, so address, and you go Victoria, and then they whip out like a Glen 20 start squirting in the face of,
like they literally were just like germ lock in our face.
But we just haven't had time to get. We thought of this ages ago, and we're like, we've got to do it, but it's a bit old now. But we have to think of some other stuff one day.
It's definitely fun to do because it's like I don't know. I feel like the whole Ranger Rodney character is Dylan to a T. Like it's literally
alter ego. Is that what they are?
Yeah. So it's been really fun to do, and we've only done 2, but we kind of are hoping to continue it as like a little series. But
yeah.
It takes a lot of hard work, and obviously you guys, you do like your travels as well. So like I know the video editing takes ages.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to just do them with a little bit less production. Just like get the point across.
It's like a TikTok version. I don't know if you. Just like a 15-second or 30-second TikTok version. Reels, get it on the reels.
Sharp and a little bit less, movie production style. Just exactly right. Get the point across.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we loved it.
Anyway.
We did. Yeah. I saw it and I showed my wife and said, "You got to check this out. This is funny."
Yeah, we were like, I was like ready. We put it up, and I was like, and I sat there for ages, like, do I post it? Do I not? How is this going to be received? And like,
out of your comfort zone,
yeah,
100%, yeah.
No, it was good fun.
Like to do more of those.
Yeah,
definitely.
I can't wait. I'll be sitting there waiting.
That's the best fun. Having a laugh when you get to watch it all back later on, and you go and you can have a laugh. It's the best part of it.
Do you guys have any advice for people, I guess, who want to go travel full time, but it's kind of just an idea at the moment, but wanting to do it? What advice have you got for them?
Probably.
Yeah, like for me personally, I think, we've discussed it quite a bit on the road, and it'll be like
biggest takeaways,
Yeah, just like don't worry about what everyone else is doing. It's kind of like, we started off with a swag, and obviously you could, if that's what you've got, and you're willing to just kind of really embrace the elements, I guess, to some extent, then that's fine. Like you don't need the big fancy caravan, or you don't need to spend months decking out a van, and you don't need the best 4-wheel drive to travel around. So that's kind of the best advice we would give, is that if you really want to do it, just
whatever you got, whatever your budget is, as long as your main objective is just getting out there and getting in amongst nature and seeing it all. So that's your objective, and don't get too caught up with having some sort of like schedule or like, social sort of thing, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and like remember why you're there sort of thing. So
Yeah.
don't
and you don't have to have it all figured out. Everyone kind of thought we were crazy that we honestly didn't even have our first destination written down or anything. We just got in the car and just drove and thought, oh, no, this will do. And that's literally what we've just kept doing. We just keep winging it.
Yeah, and obviously be safe, but it's amazing how Australia, like, we thought it would be like so remote and there's all these places, but there's so many places and towns. You go around Australia, there's remote sections, obviously, but there's it surprised us at how much we come into towns and how together, especially with other travellers and campers, you'd never feel too alone, which was surprising because I thought we'd always be camping solo. But even when you go to these free camps, there's always someone else there having a free camp as well. So, yeah.
No, I agree. So what did your friends say when you told them you were going to do this and you're planning this trip?
Well, I remember, like, for me, when I was saying, especially when we're just going in a swag, they were like, so just you two, just in swag, in your car? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm just all like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. And they're just thinking, like, have you lost the plot? Like, honestly. And, like, yeah, it was funny to see even some of our family were a bit like, oh, maybe this might die off, this whole getting in the car and, swagging around Australia. But now that they've seen what we're doing, I think we've kind of inspired some of our friends and family to do it too. But I don't know what your kind of reaction was with your friends.
Yeah, well, they were pretty much just like, fully supported it. And some people were actually like thinking we had to save up like some sort of like massive amount of cash, like huge amounts of money to go away and travel around Australia. And sort of trying to explain to them, I was like, we estimated not to spend like too much, but we actually haven't spent like crazy amounts of money. And they sort of were shocked that they're like, have you got all this money set aside? I was like, oh, we got, we're not a crazy amount. They was just thinking that it's such a far reach for them to say travel for a while. They're just expectations on how much it would cost.
Yeah, especially, you're talking 8 to 12 months, people, not working. People think that, like, you have to have this huge set of money. But I suppose it all depends what you want out of it, too, I guess, yeah.
You can quickly make it expensive anyway.
Yeah.
You eat and drink out all the time and you're paying for top priority caravan parks all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the plan was only to do it for about, say, 8 or 12 months, you said.
Yeah. So
that was 8 months was 6 to 8 months was the first estimate, and then this Corona stuff happened. Then when we pushed it out, and then we got having such a good time up in in WA, and it got so hot. We're like, man, we can't stop this now and just pack up and go home. So we're like, let's just work somewhere for a little bit of period of time, and then we'll get straight back into it when the weather allows us to be up in the north of Australia.
Yeah, and just kind of take our time. I'm in no rush we're not in rush to go back to like kind of normality way of living. So we kind of just, we'll do it, stop for a bit, and then hopefully, keep going again until we're probably sick of it.
I think we're lucky in WA about everything that sort of happened and how it happened here.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of jobs available because we can't get tourists in, so
that's going to change soon, but
it'll change soon.
Yeah.
It has been a bit of a crazy time. Like I remember when we got to Perth, we're like, so we can go outside and go to the beach, like it's all good. And like we were there, and I was like, yeah, it's all good. Like you can do it, and we're like, all right, just like looking around, like we're all, it's all good.
Making sure, yeah.
But it was, like you said, very lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Very blessed to be the way it all panned out, and very fortunate like that.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
Amazing.
I had one question. Is there anything special about like that you now have that you thought, you probably wouldn't take, or something that you thought you would take and then never used in the other sense?
Oh man, there's got to be some for sure, I reckon. Well,
if we're talking something that we did have that we're glad we did do would be the long range fuel tank.
Yeah,
Okay.
that has been so handy
And
for us.
then that we shouldn't have taken.
Probably the whip. I took a whip with me,
Yeah,
and
right.
I've used the car because there's just always someone around. So I've used it like a couple of times, and even when we're at a free camp and the people are ages away, they think it's a gun going off, so they start
it is
like,
that.
"Hey, what's going on?" You know?
Yeah,
But,
that definitely wasn't needed.
yeah, we didn't need to take that.
But I think
Maybe that should be like an
tend
episode
to-
where you're doing that.
Yeah, and everyone's
Zali
Yeah.
is, like running.
Oh my God, someone's shooting around here.
Yeah, I know. Some people get really like just like cringy, like, what is that? Oh my God,
Yeah.
put it away.
Yeah, that could definitely be another one. We might take it. Might have to be a prop. There's only so much room for props, so
Yeah.
But yeah, in saying that, there's only because we just had the car. I guess we were limited on space, so we didn't really take anything that we didn't need.
just wish I took my the Milwaukee power tools, just the charger, a couple of batteries, which would have ran. I would have taken, if I had my chance again, I would have taken an impact driver, because and just get some of those super peg screws, because trying to hit pegs into some of the rock around this place is nearly impossible. And that way we could have like a good torch and the battery fan, and also, you know, like your portable power banks that you just chuck your phone on and you just charge with USB. We could have had that up in the rooftop tent charging devices through the night. So I really wish we had the Milwaukee gear with us, but it's back in Vic, and leave it that way. Australia's a big country, and you do a lot of frequent stops. You don't tend to do like a week and then a week and then a week, because you will never get round within 12 months, in my opinion, without missing things. So
yeah, and it's easy to kind of like that whole thing, like how many plates do I take and how many bowls and cutlery and stuff, and it's easy to think that you're gonna have like these big like camping parties and like, yeah, come over, have dinner, and like I've got all these plates and knives and forks that, you know, I needed to bring.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like we were those people a little bit.
we've always got a few extra little things, but
yeah, but that's all right. It fits. So
Yeah. So do you guys also want to tell our listeners where they can find you, so on socials and any platforms that you're on?
So we've basically been on the old YouTube since we started up sort of with Sendin It last year, and we've also got the Instagram happening at _ Sendin It.
Yeah, and then on Facebook as well. We finally joined the Facebook side of it. We've been saying it for months, so yeah.
Everyone's like, "Can you get Facebook so I can actually watch?" And I'm like, "Get Instagram," and they go, "No." I'm like, "All right, okay." Yeah. I mean, I was one of those people before we started up this travel account, so I was like, I understand you want to keep it with Facebook, so we chucked one up for them. So
yeah, it's been interesting because we were both like not Instagrammers beforehand, so this has been a big thing for us. But yeah, it's good to kind of have all those platforms now that they're up and running, and you know, we're loving
good.
it.
Something to learn anyway. It's always good to learn something every day, or we've learned a lot anyway with videos. I remember when we first started, we were filming in all these weird settings and videos. I remember one video, Zali's skin was green, had a green tint to it. And then Zali's like, your colour correction, I look green. And I go, I've been at it for like 4 hours trying to colour correct. And I'm like, yep, nah, it was good. And I'm just like rendered it. And then to this day, it's our first video. Zali's skin is like green. I'm like, I look back now, it's like my eyes are reset. I'm like, what were we thinking?
Do you both do the editing, or is it one person's job?
Well, it was like Dylan has always kind of done a bit of editing. He's enjoyed it through school and all that stuff. So he started off doing most of it, and I've kind of been taught by Dylan along the way, and it's good now that we can share the load, and it's good because we both have very different, you know, minds, the way we, you know, creativity and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see, you know, how I might do something and Dylan might do something. So we tend to do maybe half. And it's kind of a little bit of me, a little bit of Dylan in it, which is cool.
because like as you said, it does take a lot of time to produce. So to split it up into sections, so you do this day, or I'll do the intro and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can see it split up there.
Yeah.
So I read that Zali, you preferred the ones without the buttons and the stuff,
Oh,
and give
yeah.
Dylan the complicated ones.
Yeah, I like to try and be like, oh yeah, that's right, I'll get the GoPro today. And Dylan's like, yeah. I know he knows what's going on there.
Oh man, I feel like I'm a bit of the camera police too. I'm like, so he's on 30, 60 frames, shutter speed's this, ISO set at this, and then she's just like, aperture, you got that went down, and how's your autofocus? And then she's just like, just shut up and let me just have a go. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm just like control freak with it, you know. So
just breathing down my neck.
Yeah, like standing there. Where's that setting?
So I'm just like, you do that one, and I'll do the GoPro. And then it's kind of like with the drone, it's like whoever's kind of got the steady hand for the day, whoever's feeling up to the task.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
Share that around, that's all right.
Yeah, if there's a lot of trees and obstacles around, I'll send it this way.
Oh yeah, high risk pilot.
Nobody wants to have that over their head with the drone maybe going into a tree or anything. So yeah, but it's good. It's fun.
That's it.
Yeah, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to add, or?
Not really. We didn't know what to expect coming into this pretty much, but it's been like awesome fun. Anyway, like chatting to you guys and reminiscing about some of the old tales about the old mayonnaise on the face and getting water in the tank. So.
All right. All right, guys, we'll let you go.
Thanks for the chat.
Have an awesome week, and we'll chat to you guys again.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Dylan Zali.
See ya.
See you guys.